Americans consume foods that have been produced from genetically modified crops. Concerns have been raised about ecological and health impacts that modified crops could be responsible for. My family farms, so I have been exposed personally to the benefits that can be produced from crops that have been genetically modified. According to the Center for Food Safety's website about genetically engineered foods, an estimated 75% of processed foods on shelves today are made from GMO ingredients. Genetically modified crops can prove to be very useful in society today, especially when talking about issues such as safety, population, and climate. Farming today relies heavily upon the ability to use crops that have been genetically modified. So the first issue that many people have is that hundreds of scientists and agronomists work together to make a plant that is more capable to survive more extreme conditions and produce more bushels than ever before. But the public has not been informed on how and why this process is done. In this day and age, all information spreads like wildfire, whether or not it is true or false information. Crops have been selectively bred for thousands of years to benefit the consumers. The only difference now is that we have the technology to conduct selective breeding on a microscopic level. According to Fitness Reloaded website in 2017, it says, "Only in the past we could do artificial selection, but we had no control over what exactly would happen. Now, in the lab, we can actually be accurate and select the exact gene we want to transfer with genetic engineering." Studies thus far have shown no definite evidence to cause any health problems, and billions of people have been eating these products for years. The accuracy that scientists have now proves the point that scientists can improve the crops with increased safety and assurance. These positive tests do not make the modified crops 100% safe, but the same could be said for any food that you eat. World population is another key discussion term that is always brought up when talking about genetically modified crops. Our world population is increasing faster than ever before, but the amount of land has and always will stay the same. With alterations that have been made to crops, they are able to grow in more harsh conditions than ever before. Also, crops are producing mass amounts more than what the world needs right now, and that amount will only increase with the more modifications that are made to these crops. Though farmers are able to keep up with the demand now, according to Genetic Literacy Project online website in 2016, by 2050 there will be 50% increase in the amount of more food that will be required to feed the population. Finally, having some experience farming myself, if we could not spray our crops with herbicides to combat weed growth, thousands of bushels would be lost. The loss not only comes from the weeds draining the nutrients and the water from the soil, but also the sunlight that the weeds would steal from the crops by growing faster than them. Currently, crops now are engineered to be drought resistant, and without that trait modified into the seed, there would be a significant loss in the amount of bushels some years and the possibility of not even having a crop during harsh drought years. Farmers today are able to plant several different kinds of modified crops on their field according to the soil type to maximize the amount of bushels that they can harvest in the fall. GMOs have received a bad stigma from the media in the recent years, with not a lot of evidence to back up the claims of misconduct. Genetically modified crops can prove to be very useful in society today, especially when talking about issues such as safety, population, and climate. Farming today relies heavily on the technology advancing, and farming technology today is advancing faster than ever before, and crops are being engineered to be stronger, and it is one of the keys to feeding the world by 2050.